go with that. Okay. Not really the most space to work with, but hey, it's part of the fun, I guess. I was able to, from last time, get the pieces together. I think I'm missing one here. I haven't gone through all the pieces and such yet, but this is what I got so far. So now, in order to save a bit of space, I'm gonna try and shove it all into the middle here. Sort out what I can. A lot of greenery. Aha! Got one. On a roll. Alright, so and yeah, it's before I started the stream today, like as I was like logging into all the streaming stuff, we had a power surge rather. It's very important to distinguish between a surge and a power surge and a power outage. Surge just means like snow fell on the power line and wigged it out just enough to turn everything off for a second. And that's obviously not preferable. So my stream might cut out throughout partly. Hello. I got a bit of work done on the puzzle. It's bugging me that I was like that close to finishing before the time limit. But so I'm like missing one piece right here, one edge piece. I can't quite really just find it out there just yet. I'm hoping just by putzing along it'll show itself eventually. Either that or I'm missing it and it fell on the floor or any number of things. Hello. That's not it. Alright. So, starting with the puzzle, I guess. I'm working just a little bit on it. Trying to get none of those seem quite right. Bring the box out again. This is what it's supposed to look like. Just the mountains that I'm looking at. No. I just figured I could do this while I'm waiting for you guys. You guys are here, but now I got it all set up, man. Alright, too many pieces, not enough time. Or something like that. Let's see, there we go. I got another piece, so we're good to go. Yeah. Get do it, I guess. Not necessarily a bad thing. Guys would be probably over here. This area. But yeah, the voice acting practice for today. And at this rate, I'll never get this puzzle finished. Gonna be years, man. I'll be stuck on my desk for like all eternity. Or something like that. Alright. The voice acting practice for today. Practice Hamlet number 2. Just picking them at random. I am running a bit short on pre-packaged stuff on here like this. No, we are. Yeah, sure. I'm just having fun with it. If you guys see something where it might fit better, yeah, go ahead. Like I keep telling you guys, it's as much as your channel it is mine by now. Yeah. But easier said than done, especially if you can see what's on there. Anyhow, we are going to be reading Umineko this time. That's hopefully. You never know. Life is never certain. Anywho, Hamlet number 2. I don't think I've ever actually read Hamlet entirely. I think I may have read snippets from it. Anyway, here we go. Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve itself into a dew, or that the everlasting had not fixed his cannon against self-slaughter. Oh God, how weary, stale, flat, and profitable seem to me all the uses of this world. Fie, fie, 'tis an unweeded garden that grows the seed. Things rank and gross in nature possess it merely that it should come to this. But 2 months dead, nay, not so much, not 2. So excellent the keen that was to his, Hyperion to a satyr, so loving to my mother, that he might not beteem the winds of heaven, visit her face too roughly, heaven and earth. Must I remember? Why she would hang on him, as if increase of appetite had grown, by what it fed on, and yet, within a month, let me not think on't. Frailty, thy name is woman, a little month or ere those shoes were old, with which she followed my poor father's body, like Niobe, all tears, why she, even she, oh God, a beast that wants this course of reason, would have mourned longer, married with my uncle, my father's brother, but no more like my father, than I to Hercules. Within a month, ere yet the salt of most unrighteous tears had left the flushing in her gallant eyes, she married, oh, most wicked speed, to post, with such dexterity to incestuous sheets, it is not, nor it cannot come to good, but break my heart, for I must hold my tongue. Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him, Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times, and now how abhorred in my imagination it is. My gorge rises at it. Here hung those lips that I have kissed, I know not how oft. Where be your gibes now, your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment, that were wont to set the table on a roar? Not one now, to mock your own grinning? Quiet chap, fallen? Now, get you to your lady's chamber, and tell her, let her paint an inch thick, to this favor she must come. Make her laugh at that. Alright. Blue Peters, blue outer edge. Alright. Like, that you guys can't see. But we got, this is the picture it's supposed to be. We've got this river bit at the bottom, and then like sky blue and mountains up here. I can start working on them. But yeah. Alas, poor York. Alright. Maybe I'll try and find a Hamlet script and like act it out for you. With me as obviously everybody, because I'm just that awesome. Nah, it's just I don't have anybody else to read it with me in here. Well, you guys could if you wanted to, but I don't quite think I could hear you. Alright. So, bear with me. There we are. Running out of loading spots here. Only take a few hours. Voice chat Hamlet performance. Oh yeah, voice chat. Oh, we could. But if you guys are up for a thing like that, yeah, sure. Make a day of it or something. Oh, yep, I forgot that one. Gotta have that one. Okay. Could be fun if you're interested. But yeah, it was Zekuto made a comment in the Discord. Back to it, but I read it about me doing scenic speech, which I believe amounts to talking on stage, acting, from what little I could quickly gather in the morning. And yeah, that would be true. That's the part I need help with. Back like I never left. What? You were gone? Man, just... trying to make a bad joke. Can't think that fast. Welcome back, buddy. Welcome back. This puzzle is going to be very distracting if I just have it sitting here. Just don't look at it there. Here. Anyway, but yeah. Welcome back, man. And just in time, too. We are redoing this section. I think I got like a sentence and a half in this last time, yesterday, which was kind of impressive. But yeah, it's really fun to invite chaos into your life on occasion. Not entirely, because then your life is going to be completely out there. But yeah, welcome back. And Umineko, we last left off, sort of. Battler was, well, there's the whole deal with everybody had their tests and they were killed by the demon. Well, the demon caretakers were fighting them, tricked them, and then they killed each other, or some such. Then Battler was given his test to come out here in a box with an envelope, and Beatrice is saying that he has a sin that he needs to remember. We're trying to figure that out, see if we actually have one, if she's playing a game, or something of that nature. This puzzle is going to be very distracting just sitting here. May not have been the best idea. So yeah, currently we're in the, I guess, showdown between Battler and Beatrice. Him claiming that he has dealt no sin, and she claiming that he has, at least sometime in the last 6 years or so. And apparently it's also not one that Beatrice is involved with. She said it in red. I forgot that part, so my theories are out there. Fight, 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 fight. Yeah, it's apparently the one white king versus the entire black board, or something of that nature, from the analogy they were giving, metaphor, whatever the fancy term for that would be. Without further ado, let's start this again. Hopefully we'll actually get somewhere this time. You never know though, life is weird that way. So, he says that he can remember nothing. With this, are your regrets at an end? Indeed. Even a hopeless bet can leave behind regrets if you do not take it. That's enough. The betting itself has meaning. Alright. Spoil sport. Maybe we just like power through and skip the dialogue. We get the interesting parts, right? I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. That may be true. In that case, this is the end of my regrets. And my game. I was 2 sentences away from the end of the game. Man, that sucks. What will you do? Who knows? I'm not interested at all anymore. Sorry, but I wish to leave the game board now. I see. I understand. I will take over for the rest of the game. You may rest. Indeed. All that remains, I will finish. You may forget everything and bury your head in your pillow. A feather futon should gently protect you from everything. She's talking to herself? I'll be counting on you to finish up the rest. Leave it to me. Leave everything else to me, and sleep. The witch who had questioned Battler hid herself, and the other witch, who had appeared from behind, remained. She certainly was identical, the same witch, but her expression was somehow indifferent and ice-cold, completely removed from the one who, despite seeming drunk up until then, had been in high spirits. Hey, are you listening? Isn't this enough for that test thing? I don't care whether I passed or failed. I won't be satisfied until I can bash your face. Come down here, or else open this door. The witch did not answer. Her eyes were as ice-cold as Battler's shoulders. She was now clearly a different person since the time she'd first appeared on that balcony. The witch gazed into my eyes, and gave two small shakes of her head. Even without words, I was able to gather that she was expressing some kind of disappointment. Without saying anything, the witch turned on her heels. After that, only Battler remained, the cold rain still beating down on him. It seemed that Gap was making fun of Virgilia, having tripped her up in some stupid way. They were spitting Leah, 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 and Gap, Gap, Gap at each other. With this as a sideshow, Kinzo and Ranave had opened a new bottle. Oh, you're back? How were the results of Battler's test? Maria's test got passing marks with no complaints, you see? I've despised her as a little girl. But see? Why, oh my, not bad. It seemed like Kinzo was dead drunk. Facing Beato, who had returned, he laughed with the same level of tension as the time they'd left for the tests. However, Ranave and Virgilia instantly noticed the change in enthusiasm. Gap also froze her expression and went silent. What is it, Beatrice, my beloved witch? Not enough to drink? Not enough on the sides? Let's pour it all over a cow or something and roast it whole. Ooh, not bad. Ranave, prepare one right away. Beatrice, let's leave the results of Battler's test for later. Why don't we have a toast with spare rib first? Roast yourself whole. What? The witch, who had spoken bluntly, coldly passed by Kinzo's side as he doubled over laughing in a great mood. Then, behind the witch's back, the old summoner's body suddenly went up in flames. Why? As crimson flames spat from his eyes, mouth, nose, every hole in his body, Kinzo rolled around. Even though it was a terrible hellfire, it didn't burn anything except Kinzo. Kinzo didn't have a clue what was going on. Unable to understand why Beatrice, who had been in such a good mood, had suddenly turned so cold, he rolled around. The dancing silhouettes of the witch and demons created by that massive rolling torch looked like a group of excited spectators around a burning at the stake. However, the eyes of the demons who watched over it were indifferent. When Kinzo finally stopped moving, the fire disappeared, leaving a pitch-black corpse. The inside of the room was commanded by the stillness of the sound of rain. What has happened, my lady? I've gotten over my excitement. Clean up those bothersome cinders. Beatrice's expression was unbelievably indifferent. There was an iciness that might easily bring the others to the same fate as Kinzo if they annoyed her. Hey, welcome, man. Yes, I'll clean it up. Gap made a jetpack pitfall, swallow up Kinzo's cinders. If she hadn't carried that out quickly, Gap might also have been burned. You could even feel that thirst for blood. No, a thirst for blood probably isn't the best way to describe it. Just like humans don't have any particular emotion when they set on an ant when they're walking. That was how much, unconsciously and mercilessly, Beato was now filled with a brutal emptiness that wouldn't hesitate at burying a passerby. What is it, Beato? I don't want to answer. No. Even answering is too much of a pain to do now. What is it? This isn't like you. Did something happen? Did Battler say something? Beatrice didn't even answer. It seemed that she even ignored it. But there was a change in Gap. From her feet, a creaking, cracking sound rose, like thin ice breaking, and in an instant turned Gap into a glass sculpture. Gap! Disappear for a while. I'm in a very bad mood. Beatrice spoke that, in a truly cold voice which could freeze the heart just by hearing it. Certainly. Then, please allow us to retire. If you need anything, call at any time. After bowing, Ranove turned into a cloud of gold butterflies and hid himself. After turning Gap, who had become a sculpture, into a cloud of gold butterflies, Regalia also turned into a cloud, which mixed in with the others and disappeared. In the study, made untidy by drinking, Beatrice stood still, alone. Since the time she had returned, her expression hadn't changed in the slightest. However, when she saw the fallen empty wine bottles and scattered cheese plates, her brow furrowed and she looked a bit displeased. And when she whispered, "Disappear," in that instant, the room was cleaned up in a flash, as though nothing had happened. The reception chairs were neatly arranged, and there was no wine or cheese. There were no stains or scattered trash either. To the contrary, even the air had frozen over. And, enough to make one doubt whether a large number of noisy people really had been in this room until a short while ago. The study had returned to silence. In that silent, frigid study where even the air had frozen, Beatrice stood still. Then she called, muttering, "Battler, are you there?" "I've been here for a while. What the hell's going on with you? You've been strange since a short while ago." "Do I seem strange? My apologies. Even though you were drinking so happily with that damn geezer, you suddenly burned him up. And your demoness friend is a glass sculpture. When you told the demon butler and your teacher to leave, they disappeared right away at your words. Just how fickle and selfish are you?" "Battler, I'm done." "Done with what?" "I've grown bored of this." "Huh? That's... well, you were the one who started this game. If you've had enough, that's great for me. So basically, you're giving up?" "I am not giving up. I'm simply ending it. No, I won't even end it. I'm just abandoning this game for all eternity." "Doesn't that mean you're giving up?" Nah, the words "got bored of it and threw it away" fit you perfectly. That is correct. I grew bored of it, and I'm throwing it away. I don't care what happens next. It can remain abandoned and gather dust as much as you like. What's going on with you? You've been kinda hard to deal with since a short while ago. Are these still the after effects of that incomprehensible test from earlier? If you've got a grudge, all you have to do is say so clearly. You said in red that it has nothing to do with you. But that's gotta be a play on words, right? It's written all over your face. You have a grudge against me. How many times will I have to say I had your face even once until now? Well, you were the one who provoked me into this game. I'm a bit let down that it wasn't resolved, but feel free to invite me again if you feel like it. But when that happens, allow me to politely refuse, okay? He intentionally spoke in a mocking tone, but Beato showed no reaction. Come tomorrow. That's right, and then the seagulls will return to the harbor. I'll finally be able to... Sorry, might be it. Give me a sec. It's most likely it. Give me one sec. I gotta change a setting here. Alright. Okay, yeah. Web acceleration. For whatever reason, my router turns web acceleration on by default. If you turn it off, everything runs better, just flat out. I have no idea what it actually even does, but it's always on, and whenever the power turns off, it turns back on with the system. That might be why we're having some spots there. Anyway, I'll skip back and recap for a bit. He intentionally spoke in a mocking tone, but Beato showed no reaction. Battler hung his head and clicked his tongue. We circled around October 4th and 5th over and over again, but I finally had just about enough of this role. This way, the boat will come tomorrow. That's right, and then the seagulls will return to the harbor. I'll finally be able to hear Rokkenjima's signature Nya Nya cries. After all, maybe because of the weather, they weren't there at all when I came to the island. When the seagulls cry, everything will end, I guess. All done. In the end. What a relief. Exactly what it is that you're misunderstanding. What did you say? I said that nothing would end. For this, everything will be abandoned. The game will be forgotten, and the pieces on the board will be abandoned as they lay. There will be no advancing or returning, no taking and being taken, no victory, no defeat, not even a tie. Just abandoned. Doesn't that mean it's over? Wrong. On my turn, the game will stop for all eternity. Your turn will not come. There will be no victory, nor defeat, nor a tie. In the past, I couldn't let you do that. After all, one of my goals was winning against you. However, I've lost interest. So there is no longer any point in making moves any longer. What do you mean by my turn not coming? I thought that Beato getting tired of the game meant I'd be released, and I'd be able to escape Rokkenjima. But for some reason, Beato's repeated words about the difference between abandoning the game and settling it caught my attention. Just what is it she's been saying, and why the bad mood? At that time, I suddenly heard a voice from behind me. When I turned around, there was someone I thought I might, or might not, remember from somewhere. A mysterious girl with no light in her eyes was standing there. What this kid's saying goes something like this. She means putting the lid on this game and leaving the pieces as they are. The game will be locked away for all eternity, without ending. The only way for you to return to your original world is to win against Beato. So, if Beato abandons the game, get it? Suddenly, in a different place, was a girl wearing a bright pink dress. I had a feeling I'd met her somewhere too, but I couldn't remember. More important was the meaning of her words. If the game is abandoned, then... Huh? That's right. A match won't be resolved unless enemies and allies meet. It would mean that you'd never be able to win and escape from this world for all eternity. What it comes down to, I guess, is something like taking the key to a cage that you're locked in, fastening it to the collar of a pigeon or something, and letting it fly. This isn't funny, Beato. We didn't come this far to watch such a boring game. Calling it a day like this is no joke. I agree with Lambda. I came here to make Battler win, and to make you writhe in defeat. I still haven't achieved that goal. I won't stand for you abandoning the game at a time like this and running away. I acknowledge that it would mean the curtain call for a game that disappoints you ladies. However, I, the host of this tea party, am fickle. Once it's lost its fun, I know no way of entertaining. I believe that's been my witch-like way of doing things from the very beginning. There are no problems, yes? Certainly. I won't go against your creed. I won't accept it. Quit fooling around. How much do you think I've supported you? You think I'd be okay with that after all this preparation? Don't mess with me. I am saying that I have tired of it. Nothing more, nothing less. That's not gonna fly. Well, we'll have you continue this game. You want to win against Battler, right? You want to win and make him surrender, right? You're almost there, aren't you? Am I right? Don't ask me that. But I have an opinion too. Let me say it. What? This is a fight you picked. I'm prepared to settle this once and for all. I've come close to surrendering many times, but I've never had any intention of escaping partway through, leaving the match undecided. Since I'm here, showing the will to fight, you'd better not run away, Beatrice. I agree. Getting Battler involved, and then leaving without giving him victory or defeat, is just too irresponsible. Suddenly, even Gretel was there, and everyone was calling Beato irresponsible. Oh? It seems I'm mostly being called irresponsible because Battler will, as my opponent, be stuck. In that case, Battler, will you step down from being an opponent, as I shall? That way, I will have done nothing worthy of criticism. If I step down, will I be able to leave Rokkenjima? There's no chance you'll be able to leave. Just be covered in dust and let it pile up on your shoulders. Quit fooling around. What an irresponsible person. You've killed such a large number of people. On top of that, using a witch's power, you've done it over and over. Killing in gruesome ways. I definitely won't let you escape without taking responsibility. Responsibility? Huh. What is it I should do to take this so-called responsibility? Fight until a resolution is reached. Battler will sit in the chair across from you, never giving up and fighting until he beats you. So you two, fight until you're defeated. If you don't like that, try and defeat Battler. I won't forgive you. if you leave everything unresolved and abandon Battler in this chair, locking him up and never letting him return, I won't forgive you. Gretel. To be perfectly honest, I didn't really understand from what standpoint Gretel was trying to save me. But in her words, I could feel a strong determination to save me from this insane game world, no matter what. So, I responded in kind. Beato, face me. Pout. I am here, across from you, in the seat of your rival. Get it? As long as I continue to sit here, I won't allow you to escape. So don't escape. Fight. Isn't this a fight you started? You did all that crap over and over, making a complete mess of things. How could I let you end it because you're tired? After all this time? I am your opponent. As long as I'm here, I won't let you escape. Are you listening, you irresponsible witch? Try saying something! After I yelled at her, Beato went silent for a while. Whether my words had reached her, or whether she was thinking about something completely different, I couldn't tell. But for a while she was silent, gazing at me with an expression I could read no emotion from. And when she realized that I'd noticed, she averted her gaze. Then she turned her back to me and said this. So, since Battler will not quit as my opponent, the ladies are saying that my abandonment of this game will not be acknowledged. In that case, let's ask. Let's see if the man over there was qualified to be my opponent in the first place. Qualified? Probably has something to do with that test or whatever just now. What are you planning to do? Don't tell me you're... I will now determine whether or not you are qualified to be my opponent. Ready, Battler? That was actually going to be my answer. Men, we are very blunt and simple. Pretty much across the board. If you're expecting a man to pick up on something with hints and suggestion, 9 times out of 10 they're not. They'll pick up that something is wrong, but they'll have no idea what. Pretty common happening, especially with fickle women like Beatrice here. Ready, Battler? If those qualifications are acknowledged, I will stay in my seat and continue the game. And I shall promise to fight for all eternity until the outcome is decided. I was ready for that from the beginning. However, if you are not qualified, you must disappear. If the opponent disappears, there is no game. I can leave this place openly. Are the ladies satisfied? Interruptions will not be necessary. Go ahead. Do as you like. Battler, you... make sure you answer well. The very reason I'm here is because I'm qualified, right? There's nothing to be scared of. You couldn't be. Gretel grew suddenly pale. I thought her to be the calm, collected type, so that expression surprised me. Well then, Battler, I shall have you repeat it in red. You're telling me to repeat something? Damn you, stealing my signature move. But can I use the red truth too? How? Well, it's just imitating life then, I guess. Except with more magic or something. Except, I don't got a girlfriend, so... mostly life. If you wish for it to be that way, you can do it. It's easy. My name is Ushiramiya Battler. Whoa, pretty cool. Stop it! I know what you're after. But stop that! He's... When Gretel yelled, Beato glared at her. Then, her form was wiped away in an instant. Shut up. Leave your seat for a while. You too, ladies. If you interfere, I will not hold back. We won't get in the way. Go ahead, do as you like. Burn, this is bad. There we go. Burn, this is bad. She's trying to erase Battler. What's that? What's she planning? Well then, I shall question your qualifications. Interesting. Attack and defense are reversed from a normal game. This is a very precious experience, coming at the very, very end. Ready? Listen carefully. I will speak with the red first. I am the Golden Witch Beatrice, and I opened this game in order to fight Ushiramiya Kinzo's grandchild, Ushiramiya Battler. I know that. So what? Repeat it. Ushiramiya Battler's mother is Ushiramiya Asumu. Huh? Why is Mom's name popping up all of a sudden? I do not require chatter. Just repeat it in red. Beato urged me with the same indifferent tone. But I don't have a clue what she's trying to do. I have absolutely nothing to feel guilty for that would trouble me if thrown in my face, and there's nothing that I'm hiding. There's nothing that could trouble me by demanding that I repeat it. So, why do something like this? Sure, I'll repeat it. Ushiramiya Battler's mother is Ushiramiya Asumu. Red sure is convenient. No need to bother myself with bringing a copy of the family register. Idle chatter is unnecessary. Let's continue. Your name is Ushiramiya Battler. Sure. My name is Ushiramiya Battler. It was from Ushiramiya Asumu that Ushiramiya Battler was born. It was from Ushiramiya Asumu that Ushiramiya Battler was born. It was from Ushiramiya Asumu that you were born. It was from Ushiramiya... At that time, my throat suddenly closed. I was rapidly assaulted with a choking suffocation. What's going on? One more time. It was from Ushiramiya Asumu that I was born. Damn. It was from Ushiramiya Asumu that I was born. What the hell? Even though I was doing it so easily a second ago, I suddenly stopped being able to get the red to work. Do you refuse to repeat it? I'm not refusing anything. It's not working for some reason. It was from Ushiramiya Asumu that I was born. Why? Damn it. Why can't I use the red? What the hell? My mom is Ushiramiya Asumu, right? Why can't I say that fact in red? What's going on? This is... If you try to forcefully speak red that cannot be spoken, you choke. There's no need to strain yourself. Allow me to use the aforementioned fact to press you in blue. Do you remember? The blue is used to proclaim a theory for the opponent to deny. They are then burdened with the responsibility of denying that in red, and if they do not, it becomes your victory. Then let us begin. Blue. Due to my previous demands to repeat and your subsequent refusal, I proclaim that you are not qualified to be my opponent. After all, Beatrice opened this game in order to fight with Ushiramiya Kinzo's grandchild, Ushiramiya Battler. This gave you the responsibility, as my opponent, to declare in red that you are Ushiramiya Kinzo's grandchild, Ushiramiya Battler. You have refused to repeat that. This means the loss of your qualifications. Deny something about that in red. Quickly. Sure. I am Ushirimiya Battler. Because I say that in red, I should be your opponent. It may be a fact that you have the name Ushirimiya Battler. However, people's names are not exclusive. There is a possibility that multiple humans have the name Ushirimiya Battler. In short, this is what it means. You are a different person with the same first and last names as Ushirimiya Asumu's son, Ushirimiya Battler. What did you say? Don't be so stupid! I'm Mom's child! Ushirimiya Asumu's child! It was from Ushirimiya Asumu that... Damn! Why? Why can't I say that I was born from my mom? How could something so stupid be true? No need to suffer. I will not toy with you. This is checkmate. You are not Ushirimiya Asumu's son. What? You're kidding me. Who are you? What person calling themselves Ushirimiya Battler? Wait a second. I am Ushirimiya Battler. It was from Ushirimiya Asumu that I was born, and I'm Dad and Mom's son. No. There is no way that you're my opponent, Ushirimiya Battler. With this as proof. Proof, you say? You do not know of that sin 6 years ago. That's... No. The true Ushirimiya Battler would not have committed a sin. But a sin did occur in the end. That span of 6 years became a blank space. And a man who knew nothing of that time took on the name Ushirimiya Battler and appeared on Rokkenjima. That truth goes like this. 6 years ago, my opponent, the true Ushirimiya Battler, was already dead. You were part of a plot by Rudolph having something to do with distribution of the inheritance. A body double set up in Ushirimiya Battler's place. How could something that stupid be true? That's so ridiculous. Battler, get a hold of yourself. Well, if you can't counter back, there's nothing more to do. Battler did not possess that qualification. That's how it is. Are you okay with that, Burn? If you accept that, you'll lose too, right? Won't you win? Why are you taking Battler's side? What a shame, Battler. What a real shame that you didn't have the qualifications to be Beatrice's opponent. I was careless myself, betting on an unqualified piece. It's my utter defeat, Beatrice. There is no victory or defeat. The opponent will simply disappear. Or perhaps I should say that he was never there to begin with. But then, who am I? Am I not Dad and Mom's kid? Who am I? What am I? If I'm not Mom's kid, then what are you saying? I'm a kid they picked up somewhere, like a stray cat? If that is the case, it would mean that you do not share Kinzo's blood. Either way, you are not qualified to compete in this game. You're kidding me. You're kidding me. Enough. From the very beginning, I was faintly aware of the possibility that you weren't Ushirimiya Battler. So, I had to question you. I had to ask about something the real Battler would have known. What a shame. I even bet on the 1 in a quadrillion chance of a miracle that you might really be Ushirimiya Battler. But it seems you really are a different person with the same first and last names. Bit by bit, Battler's form began to be clouded in darkness. No, maybe it was the other way around. The whole world was clouded in darkness, leaving only Battler. Battler was down on all fours, hanging his head and repeatedly questioning himself. However, he was not given an answer. In the world stained with darkness, Beato spoke something, and Lambda Delta ran up to him, yelling something very quickly. But it already seemed very far away, and it didn't reach Battler's ears. Then he, not knowing who he himself was, erased himself. Well, that wasn't very smart of him. Battler! Now, my opponent has disappeared. Well then, if you'll excuse me. And ladies, you should get ready for your journey. No more festivities have been prepared for in my territory. It was good seeing you. Goodbye. Without saying anything more, she clouded her own form in darkness as well, and disappeared. Are you okay with this? Battler disappeared, right? I know how much you hate losing. Are you really okay with this? Weren't you betting on my defeat? Good for you, then. Congratulations, Lambda. Let's meet again in some other world, okay? Well, this is a world of endless fragments. The chances of us having some connection again somewhere are probably less than 1 in a quadrillion. Anyway, it was fun. Bye-bye. Wait up! Burn! Chasing after Burncastle, who had disappeared first, Lambda Delta disappeared as well. After that, everyone was gone, and the study was now completely empty. Angie. Yeah, I bet Angie's gonna reappear somewhere. They returned to silence, almost as though no one had been there from the outset. No one was here in the first place. The silent study spoke that wordlessly, and the sound of the wind and rain began to fill the room, bit by bit. Oh, I guess I'm wrong. Nothing new. In a world where everything had sunk into darkness, Beato questioned herself. As I thought, from the very beginning, magic should only have been used within Mariage Saucier. Seems so. It's a fun little song, I kinda like it. I also thought that with Angie. The Witch's Alliance is you and I. It started with those two. Including other people was our first mistake. It's just so fun. We wanted to add someone close to us into that circle. And we wished that the Witch's Alliance would get really large. That everyone would be able to use fun magic together. And that we'd all be happy. However, only you and I were able to understand magic after all. We are the only 2 witches in this world who were brought together by a miracle. And now, as long as I have Beato, I don't need anyone else. Me too. That's really selfish. As long as you are here, I don't need anyone else anymore. In the very first moment that Mariage Saucier was formed, it was already complete. That is so. That is truly so. It was once a witch's alliance to make everyone happy together with magic. I wonder when it got this screwed up. What did I want to do when I started this game? I can't really remember even that. No, I may remember. But that's a feeling I now wish to throw away to the far side of oblivion. It's okay. Why not forget everything? Let's have a mariage saucier for just the 2 of us. We'll acknowledge each other. And no one will hurt us. But we won't be hurt. We won't cry. Let's forget everything. Hey, Beato. We are eternal. Maria. Umineko no Nakukoro ni, Rondo of the Witch in Reasoning. See, something was up. The World 12 Years Later, October 1998. What the hell is this story? Oh. Alright, good time as any to check them out. Bear with me. It would be on Battler's page, I believe, right? Beato and Maria. Battler is missing. Battler is missing. Maria, the Witch of Origins, who will live for 1,000 years in the future. She holds the motherly magical power to give birth to a 1 from the sea of 0. At a glance, this magical power is frail, but no matter how many times you multiply 0, you never end up with anything more than 0. However, the one she gave birth to will one day surpass even the heavens. She is loyally protected by Beatrice, who understands her true worth. The two of them are members in the same alliance. The Endless Witch, who has lived for 1,000 years. She is known for being exceptionally cruel, even among witches. She loves bullying the weak and is capable of using trial and error endlessly to find the cruelest fate they can possibly be given. And she toys with her victims even further by piling on one after another. This witch is extremely powerful, but word has it that she sometimes becomes obsessed with creating certain patterns, so that her means end up becoming her goals. And there's nobody else there, just the two of them. No goats, no Virgilia, no Lambda Delta, no Burn Castle, just them. So that alliance has apparently been demolished. And Angie's here with another Maria. This is the same one, loyally protected by Beatrice. Technically, Angie is Beatrice as well. So there is that. What does that mean? That must mean something. She is the Golden Witch Beatrice, but so is Eva. So... something. I don't know. That is weird. And Battler no longer exists. Or never did in the first place. Or something of that nature. There we go. Okusa, could you turn that off? Whoops, my bad. You don't like Mzaki? I'm just not in the mood. Amakusa turned the radio off. The world of cheery sounds was immediately swallowed up by the roar of the sea, and blotted out by the ocean's gray. Can you see it? Over there is where the harbor was at the time. The boat captain pointed, but I couldn't really recall the scene of 12 years ago. I thought I'd surely be able to immediately remember how things had been at the time, but no memories came back to me. After that incident, the island was sealed off and left to the wild. I couldn't satisfy myself with the thought that this was just inevitable, and it felt sad and painful for some reason. But at least I remember one thing. You might say that I'd probably be the same anywhere on the sea, but I remember at least one thing. The cries of the seagulls. I do remember those. When I was young, I rarely went to the ocean, though everything that symbolized the ocean meant Rokkenjima and a family gathering to me. In short, it was a symbol for the happiness of going out with my family. However, at this point in time, it seems doubtful whether that even was happiness. In my younger days, the trip had felt like a relaxed family vacation, but considering my parents' situation at the time, It was surely a very difficult trip to handle, with the distribution of the inheritance filling the place with the smell of gunpowder. I can remember giggling all over the place, completely ignorant of my parents' feelings. Rokkenjima, huh? The place of all beginnings, and the end of the line for all journeys. Amaxa, in an attempt to speak from my innermost feelings, tried to sound cool. The boat slowly rounded the island. I hoped that viewing it at a different angle might bring back my memories of the island's silhouette at the time, just a little. But in the end, even when that inlet was hidden completely by cliffs, I wasn't able to remember anything. Captain, please tell me about that other harbor you mentioned. Sure. Rokkenjima supposedly has only one harbor, but that's only for public appearances. On the back of the island, there's another hidden harbor. Like Rokkenjima itself, it has a second face, which no one knows about. Rokkenjima is an island owned by the Ushimiya family, but it has another face, as an island owned by Kinzo-san personally. So this island has 2 harbors and 2 mansions. He sure spent a lot just to keep a mistress. Who knew about this other harbor? Very few. Kinzo-san, the butler Genji-san, those of us involved with the boats, and a very small number of the oldest servants. Both the previous owner of the Najo clinic and that Kumasawa Batan knew. Naming them off like this makes it sound like there were quite a few, but basically there was a small number of people who knew. Please, tell me about that other mansion. I was only told that there was a mansion called Kuadorian. Since I wasn't allowed to leave the boat, I never saw it, not even once. Though it was far enough away that you couldn't see it from the harbor? I don't know. But it was a hidden mansion, after all. It was probably built where you couldn't see it from the outside. Anyway, Kuadorian was the biggest secret of that island. There's a theory that Beatrice lived in Kuadorian, or else was confined there. What do you think, Captain? I did sometimes carry miscellaneous goods to Kuadorian, and that included a lot of stuff that only women would use, and expensive stuff at that. I'm also convinced that the theory is true. So, does that mean you never saw Beatrice directly, Captain? Nope. Came and went for about 20 years, and I never saw her once. 20 years? Huh. That means she was at least 20 plus. Looks like she wasn't some mademoiselle. But one day, bang. All coming and going to and from Kuadorian suddenly stopped. That was about 30 years ago. Around Showa 43, 1968, I think. Bang? You mean suddenly? We came to the hidden side in a set schedule to carry food and trash back and forth. Right. The hidden side is what we called the harbor link to Kuadorian. I get it. So then? One day, we got an urgent message from Genji-san. He said that until we heard differently, there was no need for us to go to the hidden side anymore. And did you hear differently? Not really. Long story short, one day I was suddenly told that they wouldn't need regular service to the hidden side anymore, and I didn't have to take food there either. At first, I thought I was being fired, but I quickly figured it out. Going by the reactions of the servants who knew of Kuadorian, I managed to guess somehow. Beatrice died, and there was no longer any need to take food or people to care for her. That's what I think. From that point on, I was never told to take a boat to the hidden side. However, after that, Genji-san came to see me face to face, and got pushy, strongly urging me to never to speak of anything related to the hidden side, until I died. You're bad at keeping secrets, buddy. So, if that hidden mansion was abandoned for 20 whole years, why was Aunt Eva there? On that day, 12 years ago, Ushiromia Eva somehow escaped harm alone in a hidden mansion, 2 kilometers away from the mansion. Why was she in a hidden mansion that had been forgotten for 20 years? I saw on the talk shows. Even I don't have a clue what happened. Not once did I guide Eva-san to the hidden side. I have no idea how or why she knew about or reached Kuwadorian. I wonder if it was possible to reach this hidden Kuwadorian by land. If, as we heard, the forest was dense and uncultivated, I seriously doubt the well-dressed lady's person be able to bush crash it. So, what about by sea? Maybe there was a motorboat or something. Are you kidding? That 2-nighter typhoon was awful. No way you could use a boat. So what if there was an underground passage or something between the mansion and Kuwadorian? Wouldn't it have been a pain to have to charter a boat each time he wanted to visit his mistress's house? You mean a tunnel long enough to connect mansions on opposite sides of a 2-kilometer island like Rokkenjima? Well, I'd like to laugh at the thought, but this rich guy made a whole hidden mansion for his mistress. Guess I can't deny the possibility. What do you think, Captain? I'm a man of the sea. I don't know about holes. But the Japanese military dug a 25-kilometer tunnel on Iwo Jima. Wouldn't surprise me if that Kinzo-san could dig at least 2 kilometers. There really is something wrong with this island. Not just something, many things. Even now, not one of us really knows a thing about it. The boat reached the shore. They would have to walk a short ways to reach the mansion. I'll wait here. The mansion's that way. The path from back then's probably still there, but I'll bet it's covered with plants. Make sure you don't get lost. Right. Let's go. Thanks for everything, Amakusa. You wait here too. Well, I had a feeling you'd say that. I'm just delivering something. It'll be troublesome for them if you come too. I imagine your toxin is strong. Toxin? I'll be back soon. Today, our main goal is Kuwadorian. After I deliver this, I'll come right back. Angie put on her knapsack, holding the flowers she would offer. Give her some space, young'un. See you soon, little lady. Your family's waiting for you. I had never been on a road like this, but I had no trouble finding my way. If I walked straight ahead, it would probably guide me to the final destination for everything. It was true that the vegetation was incredibly thick, and if I didn't pay attention I would lose track of the path. But the road that was left was much clearer than I'd guessed it would be. Still, that didn't change the fact that it was a bad road. Contrary to the distance shown on the map, I was forced to walk a long way. The forest was deep and dark. At the time, I had been threatened into staying away from the forest because a witch lived there. Of course, that fear is gone now, but I feel it. Because that was me. I could feel the presence, like an aura, of the golden witch Beatrice. Here and there were massive fallen lumps of rock along with overgrown trees and ivy, and the voices of birds and bugs. Yeah, I feel it. I feel that the witch is here. Ahead, an ivy-covered construction site fence and warning sign stood. No entry. Tokyo Metropolis. That was written on it. Yeah, that's right. When you think Tokyo, you tend to think of a city, but Rokkenjima is also located within the Tokyo metropolis. Apologizing to the sign for my rude mistake, I climbed the fence. When I crossed the steep slope beyond that, my field of vision rapidly expanded, and a fresh sea breeze blew through my hair. It was like the top of a little hill. Below me was a vast view of the island. I could only see desolated forest and rock walls spread out below me. But I realized that the mansion was probably somewhere around there. The steep downward slope beyond this hill had probably been created by earth and rocks collapsing from 12 years of wind and rain. It had become a slant filled with crags that you might even call gentle cliffs, and it would be easy to tumble down, though it looked like climbing back would be pretty difficult. In any event, it seemed that proceeding any further would be impossible. If I continued any further, I wouldn't be able to return. In other words, this is the border. This place is 1986 and 1998, and it is that day and today, the boundary between this world and Nirvana. This spot is this journey's final destination, it seems. As the strong winds blew Melman's and Sakatoru's hair, they looked down from the hilltop. From here, I can't really tell. Where's the mansion? Let's get closer. Oh, that's impossible. We won't be able to come back. We won't be able to come back. Is that it? I see. This is 1998, and I am the Ushimiya Anji who has been left all alone. At first, this was a journey to die, but not anymore. It's become a journey to accomplish something. Yeah. So, I'm sorry, you two. Although, as I was back then on that day, I would have gone down that cliff without any hesitation. Come on, this is pretty lame for the skyscraper jumping Ushimiya Anji. Sorry. This place is as good as any. After all, you can feel the wind of that day. Was the wind really like this? Yeah. Very soon, they will come. Everyone. Sakataro said it as though it was completely natural. And I believed it. Dad, Mom, Oni-chan, all of my relatives, and those fun servants. And Maria One-chan. It's me. It's Angie. I've come back. When I started my journey to expose the past of 12 years ago, my goal had been abstract and I hadn't understood. But now, I have no doubts. This journey was induced by several thoughts and fates over 12 years. A journey to reach an end for me, Ushimiya Anji, and a journey reaches an end as the last witch of Maria Sorcier. I came here as the last daughter of the Ushimiya family, and as the last witch. Dad, Mom, Oni-chan. Sorry. Let me greet Maria One-chan first. A strong tailwind urged me on. That tailwind took just my soul out from inside my body to the vast forest beneath me. And, though from here on I couldn't see, I believed that it flew me to the mansion on that day, to where everyone was, to whether Maria One-chan was. And so, even though my body was on the top of a hill, a strong wind blowing against me, my soul was now certainly dancing through that sky. The vast, vast sky of Rokkenjima. Below me was the green of many trees. But I understand. I can comprehend the presences of my family and relatives, and all the servants. And Maria One-chan too. I could even comprehend Maria One-chan as a witch. It was vast, more so than any vast space I had imagined up until now. Maria One-chan, can you hear me? Listen. Angie called to the Maria of that day. She told her of the long journey she'd undergone, of her long-delayed realization of just how much she wounded Maria in her youth. She understood magic, and now understood everything about the world Maria had wanted to show her. It was very warm, overflowing with love and happiness. She wanted to become even happier by sharing that world, but I trampled it. So now, I finally understand everything. I understand magic. Our magic is surely very faint, and fills the space besides us. But it isn't something that anyone can see with their eyes. Magic is... yes, I can say it clearly. Without love, it cannot be seen. Sorry, One-chan. I've already been excommunicated from the alliance of witches. But now, I understand how wonderful it is. And I know that, after the day I wounded you, Mariage Saucier was transfigured into something different from what you truly desired. Even the magic that spat anger by cursing people was probably important to One-chan in those days. One-chan's environment was sad enough to permit that. But now, those sad days are over. So, let's return One-chan's alliance of witches. Back to the original Mariage Saucier. The grimoire was in my hands before I realized it. The strong winds were rapidly blowing its pages one after another. That world had been kind in the beginning. How could you give birth to magic that would make candy fall from the sky? How could you give birth to magic that would make tomorrow's dinner cream croquet? How could you give birth to magic that would make the weather good when you went out the next day, making your whole day fun? New spells of happiness were created one after another, coloring her world with kindness. Those days were flipped through one after another, and months began to flash by. The pages with drawings that had once been colorful gradually began to change into the color of black ink. Eerie magic circles and demon summonings. Evil magic for harming people. How could you give birth to magic that would cause the class bully to catch a cold? How could you give birth to magic that would seriously injure someone in class so that they died? How could you give birth to magic that would cause a bus loaded with all the bullies to fall off a cliff? Malicious spells were created one after another, burying the pages and her heart. Because I hurt One-chan, Mariage Saucier ended up like this. One-chan isn't a black, evil witch. She was a white, pure, innocent, kind witch. I'll return it to how it was. I'll bring back the original Maria One-chan, the one who scattered magic to make people happy across the entire world. That's the reason I came here. I was guided by fate. Maria One-chan, can you hear me? Show yourself before me. That voice rode an even stronger wind and was sent 12 years into the past. Then, the wind gradually ceased, and silence fell. Crunch, crunch. I could hear the sound of gravel being stepped on. I listened to those footsteps, surprised at this miracle. Without a doubt, those were Maria One-chan's footsteps. Maria One-chan. It's Kasumi. Looks like I finally found you. Eh, Anji-chan? I forgot about her. Before I knew it, Aunt Kasumi and her black suits, a total of 7 people who didn't resemble Maria One-chan in the slightest, were standing there, surrounding me. And it felt like my voice had been just about to reach Maria One-chan too. Because of these guys' toxin, that magic was cut off. Angie clicked her tongue at that, but Kasumi probably didn't hear it that way. Are those flowers for your deceased family? How admirable. You're going to throw them, right? Go ahead. We'll wait that long. Just what are you waiting for? But Angie could more or less guess. The way the black suits unnaturally stuck their hands into their pockets clearly brought to mind the likelihood that they had handguns. This is a deserted island. There could be no more convenient place to dispose of someone. I have absolutely no interest in the family matters of the Sumadera family. But if I die, all that wealth will go to them. Unlike me, they're probably very interested and concerned about this matter. Of course, it seems that if the massive amounts of stock I own suddenly go to them, it'll be pretty bad for the Ushimir group as well. And they're apparently having a secret feud, fighting over me, all by themselves. That's probably why President Okanogi gave me Amakusa as a guard. Having Amakusa wait on the boat was a regrettable mistake. And Kasumi, how long have you been waiting for this ambush? Since early morning. Thanks to that, I'm completely tired of waiting. After all, there are no cafes or dressing rooms here. No toilets either, so I guess you had to elegantly drop a load behind a tree. A lady with half Sumadera blood flowing through her veins will not use such filthy words. You really are a Sumadera Kiri's child. Not a trace of grace. She grabbed me by the hair and forced my face up to hers, and then spat at me. My words might be filthy, but they're no worse than her spit. Every time you talk to me, Aunt Kasumi, it's always about Mom. Am I really that much like my mother? Yes, you are. That impertinent gaze. Your mouth and nose are the same too. Freewheeling and irresponsible. You thought nothing of the long history and tradition of the Sumadera family, and selfishly flew out of the house. Thanks to that, my entire life has been devoted to cleaning up your mess. I guess your life really has been covered with crap. When I was slapped on the cheek, my ear was smashed, and for an instant my head rang. My hair was pulled, spinning me around, and I fell to the ground. And in a flash, the ground was kicked and I was stuck with sand. Yes, you truly are like Nei-san. That gaze like you're mocking me somehow. Yes, I remember so many things. You're a sad person. I'll bet that since you were young, you always got compared to Mom and scorned. And for your entire life, you'll never be released from that wretchedness. A little girl like you couldn't possibly understand. You see, your mother is a loser who threw everything away and ran away from the Sumadera family, right? Do you know how much trouble I went through because of that loser? Any trouble you went through has nothing to do with me. Sorry, but what am I supposed to do about something that happened before I was born? When will your life begin? It never will. For all eternity, you'll always continue to be sneered at by my dead mother until you die. If only you'd just die. Why are you living? You little piss. My stream seems to be going proper. You little piss. You all. Make her some tea. Hey, she opened her eyes. Leave it to us. You big-mouthed shitty brat. Let's teach you a little lesson. The black suit dashed up to me, violently grabbed me by the nape of the neck, and dragged me down. Do whatever you want to her until my break is over. Teach my cute niece her place. Sumadera Kasumi. When I think about it, she was a pitiable person. To the outside world, women of the Sumadera family were trained to be in a position that supported and deferred to men. But in actuality, strong leadership was required from them, so that they could manage all the common people. The role demanded of them really was that of a female commander, like a little reading of the word Okami. That also means wolf. Managing the Sumadera family with all of its traditions was not something that could be accomplished with just an ordinary level of dignity. It was an unimaginably heavy responsibility. Normally, this would have been demanded of Kiri, Kiri had undergone that harsh training, and Kasumi, as the younger sister, should have been able to take it easy. No, on the contrary, she had lived like a lazy, selfish, and affluent princess, sneering at Kiri, who had been given the heavy responsibility. However, Kiri had suddenly been disinherited. She had refused the fiancé her parents had arranged, and had gotten pregnant by her lover, Ushimiya Rudolph. From the Sumidera's perspective, even though the Ushimiya family held a vast fortune, it was a low-level family that had already collapsed, and had become not even a legal wife, but a mistress to the second son of that family. Normally, a daughter of the main family would be shown no mercy for such dishonor. They would wrap her up in a mat, place a pole on end, and throw her either into the Pacific Ocean if the pole fell to the right, or the Sea of Japan if the pole fell to the left. But Kiri's punishment ended with disinheritance, an unbelievably warm-hearted decision. After that, the Sumidera family began receiving favorable treatment from a section of the Ushimiya group. There must have been some kind of backroom deal. In other words, Kiri openly left the Sumidera family under the pretense of gaining financial support from the Ushimiya family. Kasumi had watched it happen in shock. No, she even disparaged her dishonorable sister as a loser. But, eventually, she realized that the heavy responsibility Kiri had borne would be passed on to her. And then, for the first time, she saw that she'd been outwitted. Because of your mother, my life was ruined. No, you could even say she killed me once. On that day, I was killed once and thrown into a hellish life. Isn't that what you get for making light of life until then? Don't you ever stop talking, girl. Yeah. The black suit punched me in the gut, and I doubled over. But I was quickly grabbed by the nape of the neck and made to stand up again. Kasumi cold-heartedly looked down at me, smoking a cigarette. The painful days after Kiri had left were floating through her mind. Just Yakuza things. No. Until then, she had been allowed to be a simple lady, free-willing and naive. Only the older sister, Kiri, had been harshly trained, and she, the younger sister, had been able to live as nothing more than a princess. Then, suddenly, everything got flipped over, and her life came crashing down. My lifestyle, and the way I lived, were all stolen from me. Do you know how much I was derided by those relatives who didn't know the details, all because of my sister's dishonor? I detested her. I detested your mother enough to make me spit blood. Glad to hear it. Keep up the good work. A kick landed in Angie's side as she crawled on the ground. Angie didn't stand up again. So, she continued to lie there like a caterpillar as she was kicked each time she spoke up. I saw Nason at the Ushimiya group party once. She was with her husband, looking very happy and laughing. She pushed everything onto me and found happiness, only for herself. So what? I was taking it out on me going to make you happy. Will taking it out on me turn back time and change history or something? You said something a short while ago. When will my life start? No matter how much I despise you or take out my frustrations on you, I can't turn back time. So, must I keep hating my sister even though she's gone, until I die? You've got to be kidding me. How long will I have to be tormented by my sister's ghost? So I thought of something. If I could accomplish one thing, I'd be able to forget all of my hatred and start over. Angie was about to lash back out at her, but stopped, because she'd be kicked again if she responded. Even if Kasumi didn't say any more, Angie had a pretty good idea of what she meant. Kasumi thought by taking revenge against Kiri's daughter, Angie, she'd be able to put an end to her hatred. Talk about pushing your problems onto other people. Come on, stand up. If you like this island that much, I'll bury you deep in it. You don't want to die at your age, right? Don't you feel like saying, "Sorry, my mother caused you so much trouble," or something? Who'd say something like that? Angie! Angie! Angie-sama, no! You mustn't provoke them. You should at least make it seem like you're going along with them, so you can buy some time. They often say that you should throw your foolish pride out with the garbage. What about Amakusa-san? Amakusa-san comes, I'm sure. It's no use. I can't see him. You idiot, Angie-sama. Why did you leave Amakusa behind? I didn't need Mammon to tell me. I was seriously regretting it already. I walked a long way. The forest was very thick. I've got no doubts that signs of activity here won't reach the boat. During the time it took for Kazumi to finish casually smoking a whole cigarette, I was continuously tormented by the black suits as she had told them to. The moment I grabbed at my head, my scalp was kicked by someone at a bad angle, and my head was filled with stars. The feeling of stars flickering in this gray, twisted world was one I remembered clearly. My life was very similar to the one Sumadera Kasumi led. After all, as the successor to the Ushimiya family, I was tormented constantly with various kinds of bullying under the guise of education and training. Yes, having the inside of my head filled with stars like this is a feeling I know well. When being reprimanded for some error in manners I seemed to have made, the discussion always turned to whether I was fitting to be the successor or not. On and on the honor of the Ushimiya family, and how deep that was. By the time the conversation reached that point, I'd forget what mistake I was being blamed for in the first place. No, in fact, it was the same for Aunt Eva. After all, sometimes you'd ask yourself, what was it again? But in the end, she wouldn't be able to remember, and would say something like, if I'm angry, it must be your fault, Angie. The fact that you're at fault is what matters, so who cares if I can't remember what it was you did? There'd be some ridiculous reasoning like that, and then she'd keep on punishing me. Yes, Aunt Eva's punishment wasn't something that would continue until I learned something, or acknowledged my mistake, or apologized. It would continue until Aunt Eva wanted to stop. So this violence was a bit nostalgic, in a way that made me want to vomit. I opened my eyes, and look, there's Aunt Eva, right next to Kasumi, who's smoking a cigarette. I could see Aunt Eva, almost as though the two of them are laughing together. When I think about it, even Aunt Eva's life might be a thing worthy of my sympathy. The responsibility and pressure of being a member of the Ushimiya family, which she often mentioned to me, had probably caused her great pain. After all, people can't make insults that they've never been the targets of themselves. It was probably the same for Aunt Rosa as well. As the youngest child of the Honorable Ushimiya family, you must have gone through many tough times. It was just like what Aunt Eva did to me. Just like what Sumadera Kasumi is doing now. Aunt Rosa must have been the same. People tend to push the pain they're burdened with onto other people. Otherwise, they can never escape from that pain. So on and on in eternity and perpetuality, the chain of pain and sadness does not end. That's why Maria Onei-chan's magic was so incredible. With her magic, she didn't have to bear the pain caused by Aunt Rosa. The pain probably was pushed onto her. Its weight probably tormented her. But Onei-chan didn't carry that burden on her own shoulders. She purified it and filled her world with happiness. So I'm sure, if Maria Onei-chan had had children in the future, she probably wouldn't have pushed the pain that had been forced on her onto her children. That chain of pain and sadness that stretched back for who knows how long, which she couldn't understand and which she had inherited, which had been forced onto her. Maria Onei-chan cut it with her magic. What's wrong? Got a bone to pick with me? In the past, I would have snapped back. I would have met her hatred with hatred, so that they'd cancel each other out. No, nothing got cancelled out. The thing being forced on me ended up right there on my shoulders. Just like how, even now, I hate her. So, now that I know of magic, I'll look at the human called Umineko again. What I could see through to was a sad human form, no different from me, who had lost her family, and who bore deep wounds in her heart. Unable to withstand the pain of that torn heart, she was doing nothing more than howl sadly like a lion crying in pain, like a child. Even Umineko was someone I should have felt compassion for. She needed someone to understand the difficulties and pain of her childhood years. Even she, who was the only survivor of the Rokkenjima crime, who was faced with the curiosity of all of society, who was publicly slandered and forced to have salt continually flung into the wound, had needed someone's compassion, in order to let Eva forget her pain and sadness at least a little. The Black Witch taught her magic, just like the times it had possessed Aunt Rosa. It was the same magic of anger and sadness that Beatrice had taught Maria Onechan when she was mourning for her torn-apart friend, Sakataro. That same magic, that witch, had probably dwelled inside Aunt Rosa too. But I mustn't hate to lose Umineko. Maybe I should become her ally, as the only person in the world who could understand her. What did I say to her when I was young, when she returned alive all alone? Could it be that I acted as though she'd killed my family and returned on her own? I can't believe it. Aunt Eva, who has never been more than an object of and a synonym for hatred throughout my life, is turning into a human I can understand. So, I can see, right next to Aunt Eva, the form of the Black Witch who taught her the black magic. Aunt Eva was crying. It was only natural. Not only was no one willing to understand the pain of losing her husband and son at once, but her only relative had insulted her, saying, "Give me back my dad and mom." I can make the excuse that I was merciless because of my youth. However, to her at the time, it had probably been cruel enough to sever the last thread in her heart. In the following days, the talk shows and magazines publicly slandered her. The truth of her husband's business and character, and even her beloved son, were negated. She no longer had anything left. She could do nothing but cry and howl, trying to forget the pain and sadness at least for a while. After all, she could only feel a tiny bit of release, and only during the time that she howled. And so, the Black Witch taught her how to howl. The one I hated was the Black Witch. Black magic can probably release one from that pain for an instant. However, it never lifts that weight from a person's shoulders. On the contrary, it forces that weight onto further victims, filling the world with hatred. If only Aunt Eva knew of white magic, and had a true witch nearby. Shouldn't that have been me? Didn't I learn the magic to create happiness for Maria Onechan? If I taught her with that magic, could we have built a future with a completely different relationship? Up until now, I've hated Aunt Eva constantly, though I didn't notice the Black Witch beside her. Without love, it could not be seen. I didn't have any love for her. So now, finally, I'll glare at the Black Witch, the one I truly should hate. Oh? What's this? You can see me. I see you. The one I should have hated wasn't Aunt Eva. It's you. Oh, awesome. To think that a lowly human could see a witch like me. So, are you trying to say something with that glare? Do you hate me? Hate? Yes, I do. But that's not quite it. I just think you're sad. Sad? What are you saying? Come on, go ahead. Why not hate me as much as you want? I won't hate. Hating you means I'm doing nothing more than inheriting Antiva's hatred. I'll put a stop to hatred. I'll accept Antiva's pain, purify it, and throw it away. What kind of epiphany do you think you've had? Is your head alright? Seriously, if only you just give up and die. You guys, kick her more and more, okay? Not her face, though. Because it'd be boring if her pitiful face got any better. The black suits persistently kicked my stomach and back, as though they had been ordered to be to by the Black Witch. My, are you still not suffering after all that? You keep staring right at me. Do you hate me? I'll bet you do. Same here. Kasumi sneered at me. But for some reason, I had the feeling that she was crying behind that expression. Just like me, the pain of being forced into an unreasonable life would never, ever heal. The sad lion, gasping in pain from the thorn he can't get out, continues to howl. Hey, Umadera's Kasumi, take a look. Over there. It's you, as you used to be. Don't you feel better now? You used to be standing there, but now you're on this side, right? Isn't it great? Don't you like having the roles switched? Yes, it really is great. How can you make that kind of face, Angie? Go on and cry. You want to, right? Yes, of course she wants to cry. Make her cry. Didn't someone make you cry back then? I'll make her cry too. You too, Angie. If only you just break down and cry. Cry, Angie. I want to see your crying face. Cry, and try saying, I'm sorry, Aunt Kasumi. Yes, make her say those words. Aren't those words painful? Isn't being made to apologize for something that isn't your fault just the worst pain? Make her feel the same way. By doing that, you can relieve your pain. Yeah, that's it. Be a little more honest with yourself, okay? If only you just let your emotions run free more, and more, and more. The Black Witch provoked Kasumi, and Kasumi began to give herself over to that dark emotion, by turning deep sadness into an evil alcohol and forcing it down, trying to forget it for just an instant. Nothing would change. The words Kasumi insulted me with were themselves sad, and I couldn't forgive the Black Witch who had imposed that sadness on Kasumi. I had gone limp, which seemed to have stopped the black suit's kicking competition. Or maybe the kickers were getting tired too. Kasumi didn't order them to stop, but at some point they did. However, I was reflected in Kasumi's eyes, and they burned me with flames of hatred. She had been tempted by the witch to do that in order to relieve her own pain. Umadera Kasumi? You aren't done yet. You've got much more trampling to do, right? Can you forgive what happened to your entire life with just a little violence? I can't. I still can't forgive her with just this. Right? There's no way you can forgive her. Do it more. More of the flames of hatred. Nothing can warm you except the fires of hate. After being frozen in the snow fields of anger and sadness, the only flame that can warm you is hatred. Say it, okay? Scream it. If only you just burn yourself to ashes with a roar of hate. Oh, Shiromiya Angie! I cannot live without hating you. That's Umadera Kasumi. Look at that bundle of flowers. These flowers are for your dead family, right, Angie? The Black Witch grinned at me unpleasantly, using her chin to signal Kasumi to pick it up. Kasumi picked up the flowers I was going to offer, brought them all the way over to me, dropped them, and made a show of trampling them. Her expression was filled with hatred, and a frantic quality that couldn't be explained with hatred alone. She trampled them over and over again, as though her sadness was reaching the bursting point. So the sound of her trampling, it was just sad. Oh, still not suffering yet? And what about this? The Madeira, Kasumi. Use this. No, not that. The object the Black Witch pointed at was Maria One-chan's grimoire. Kasumi also noticed it, and picked up that book, which was heavier than it looked. What's this? Why not read it? You might fall over laughing, okay? Kasumi opened the grimoire, skimmed over the contents, and snorted derisively. Give it back. That's One-chan's. Of course, my hand couldn't reach. My stomach was once again kicked by the black suits, and I doubled over. See? This book's really important to Angie, right? Gotta be a little of the things that are important to her, okay? That'll work better than punching or kicking for a girl like her. You know that better than anyone, don't you? As though remembering something painful, Kasumi's face twisted for an instant. That quickly disappeared, changing into a scornful smile directed at me. What a creepy book. Did you write this? Stop it. Give it back. Look at that face. Belittle it more. Belittle it more. Teach her the pain of having your dignity trampled. That's the only way to soften your own pain. What's with this embarrassing book? I'll admit I did have a little interest in fortune-telling as a girl. But isn't this going a bit too far? Magic? Ew. You're one of those, aren't you? It's like in those cartoons where a girl says that something spell and transforms into a witch, right? You like those, don't you? How pathetic. Cackling, Kasumi opened to a random page and showed it to the black suits. The black suits looked too and guffawed. That sneer didn't wound me, but I couldn't forgive it. After all, that sneer was ridiculing Maria One-chan. I don't hate Kasumi, but for forcing that unhealing anger and sadness on Kasumi, I cannot forgive the Black Witch. That Black Witch ate into Aunt Eva, Sumadera Kasumi, and Aunt Rosa, tormenting them for an eternity without letting their wounds be healed. Sprinkle water cleansed by the sun with sugar, stick the magic staff in, and then an incantation? What the hell? It hurts. The black suits were also rolling around, guffawing. Then, grinning, the Black Witch whispered something into Kasumi's ear. Kasumi grabbed hold of that page, tore it off, crumpled it up, and threw it away. So cruel. That was Maria's magic. It was one of the spells fall from the sky. Stream is wigging out. Bear with me. There we are. She had found several pieces of candy scattered around. How happy must that miracle have made Maria One-chan? Didn't she treasure that candy, eating it during her night alone with Sakutaro to distract herself from her loneliness? That magic that One-chan had given birth to had been torn and thrown away, and had disappeared. The whole miracle of happiness that magic had been given birth to had been torn and thrown away. Oh, this part's great too. Magic to make tonight's dinner deemed croquet. What's next? Magic to make bell peppers taste good? That's not bad either. So stupid. And tear that too. If only you just stared more and more. With a brutal, loud laugh, the Black Witch made Maria and H.'s spells get torn out, one after another. Magic of happiness was sneered at, torn, and thrown away. Stop it! Stop it! Don't defile Lady Maria's magic! Don't defile it with your filthy toxin! Mammon cried and yelled, but she had no way of reaching Kasumi. Come on, why not defile it? Miracles of magic? Magic to bring happiness? No way. Nothing like that exists. Don't you know that you can't heal pain and sadness without pushing it onto someone else? Hey, you also heard those magic friend things, right? Sumadere Kasumi. Open to that page. What's this? Magic friends? The Seven Sisters of Purgatory? What a creepy name. It says that they can fly at awesome speeds and finish off the enemy. Angie, you think you can use this kind of magic? Shouldn't you use it right now? Foolish. The page that wrote of the Seven Sisters of Purgatory was also heartlessly torn away. The page itself was just paper. It wasn't Mammon's vessel or anything. But the tearing, denying toxin burned Mammon from the inside. Mammon's face twisted from that heat and pain. Are you okay, Mammon? Hold on. This much is no problem. It's not me, but Angie-sama who's in pain. However, Mammon's expression was twisted with unbearable anguish and humiliation. Stop it, Black Witch! Why are you doing something like this? Why can't you use magic for happiness? Oh, you're a magic friend too, right? I'll defile you too. Sumadere Kasumi, look for this guy's page too, okay? What's this one? What's with this crappy scribble of a lion? Sakataro? What a weird name. My best friend, it says. Really? This is your friend? A close friend? This lion is? Is it? Is it? It really is a crappy scribble. This ugly lion is totally you. To think she had something like this as a friend. That Ushimiya Maria's kid's mind is so pathetic, it's embarrassing. What a joke. Oh, thank you. She's like a moron. If only she'd just give up and die. Don't make fun of Maria. Stop it. Don't break it. No way. There was a shrill sound. The page had been filthily ripped out. The picture of Sakataro that Onechon had drawn was violently ripped in half. You all left too, okay? A pair of the black suits laughed vulgarly, and heartlessly trampled the two halves that had been torn out and thrown away. Sakataro, hang in there. I'm not sad. I just can't stand it. I can't stand that Maria's being made fun of, and I can't do anything about it. To humans who can't see us, it's as though we don't exist. We can only interact with humans that need us. That's why we're furniture. As Sakataro and Mammon supported each other, they crouched down, sobbing. I couldn't stand it either. Those who can't see how wonderful the world of magic is can't understand it. You can't explain to humans who can't understand. So it gets belittled if you could show them it. But you can't. Because, in front of humans who are filled with the magic-resisting toxin, and who can't understand magic, magic cannot be used. I really don't get it. From this delusional diary, I've got to assume that something's wrong with your head. It really is fun to take a peek into your mind. You creepy child. Both you and Mario. And the stuffed animal and the furniture over there too, right? I could laugh. You don't have any friends, do you? You're always all alone. So stuffed animals are your friends? What a pitiable child. Don't worry. I understand. I know what it's like to live that way. So I'll accept it. You really are a pitiable child, right? To you, it probably would look like something made by a pitiful child. That's right. If 100 people were to read One-chan's diary, 100 people would probably think the same thing. I used to be like that too. But you know, despite all that, Mario One-chan summoned a world of happiness. Don't deny that magic, that happiness. Such a stubborn child you are. Very well. This is the last one. I'll tear apart the source of the truly foolish magic that you and Maria believed in. Tsumadera Kasumi, read this page, okay? What's this colorful page? What's this? Magic to always be friends with my beloved mother? Stop it! Not that page! Oh, this magic's really simple, isn't it? It looks like even I could do it. Even I can remember an incantation this short. Shall I give it a whirl? It really is a short incantation, isn't it? Okay, give it a try. Let's have everyone spit it out. With expressions that ridiculed it from the bottom of their hearts, the Black Witch and Kasumi tapered their mouths, and they said it aloud. Ooh. The black suit stared blankly, asking what the hell that was supposed to be. Then Kasumi answered, cackling. This is supposed to be an incantation. Are you kidding me? Come on, why don't you guys try it too? The black suits imitated that moaning voice, making fun of it. Ooh. That was the incantation for the magic that would let her always be friends with her beloved. A stupid moaning voice. Too bad that if you do this over and over again, people will think you're a pathetic, stupid kid. Are you a moron? Stop it. At least don't belittle that magic. It was the day of a picnic, when Maria One-chan and Aunt Rosa were alone. It was written that this was one of the top 5 happiest days of her life. One-chan was singing a song she just learned from her mama. Her mother had been delighted, but partway through, Maria forgot the lyrics. But since she saw that her mother was so happy, she tried to sing until the very end, with ooh, hoo, hoo. Even though she'd only pretended to know the lyrics, her mother had enjoyed it a lot. After that, ooh remained as an incantation to remember that day she'd spent in fun and happiness with her mother. Of course, even though she seemed to find it funny at first, Aunt Rosa eventually tired of hearing it, and eventually started scolding One-chan when she said it. But to One-chan, it was a memory of a fun day that she'd never forget. So among the spells that Maria had created, it was the oldest and the first. Kasumi stuck her fingernails into that page too. Stop it. Don't tear it. At least spare that page. No way. With a shrill sound, a girl's world of happiness was erased. Is this your magic of happiness? Hilarious, hilarious. There's no way there could be magic to make you happy, right? Magic is made out of anger and hatred, right? Happiness is what you call the feeling of release you get only when you've pushed all the hatred you bear onto other people. The happiness you all are talking about is a phantom that doesn't show up outside picture books. As Kasumi laughed her head off, she slammed the grimoire against the ground and stepped on it. Can't stand it? Hey, you can't stand it, right? You white witches of happiness. If you can't stand it that much, why don't you show us? Show us your magic. If it exists, then you just have to show us, right? A witch who can't use magic isn't a witch. That's why we're the real witches. You're just brats trying to escape reality with a dream. I think this will be a decent spot to stop. It's even pausing for me. Then, I can show you magic. Will you believe in One-chan's magic? I'm gonna stop it right there. It seems a decent one, and we're a little over time. We're also on page 5 of the save file, which is quite amazing, really. I don't see it. I don't use up that many saves that often, especially on one we've started partway through. Anyway, don't put your anger and hatred out on other people. That's not how it works. Another comment I'd like to say is when I was reading, while I was narrating the forgiveness and hatred and whatnot, one of the best and or worst things you can do to someone who's done you wrong is to forget about them. Holding a grudge, holding in the anger, and remembering the problems isn't always healthy. You can't always forgive or forget things. You killed my parents. I can't like you for that. Something like that. You've desecrated everything I believe in. Some things can't be forgiven. But to move on, you can forget about them. Once you can forget and let go, you can move on and actually start healing. There was a quote or a comment I read once. Hanging on to grudges and anger is like continuing to eat a poisonous apple. Yeah, sure, it may have some health benefits, but you're still poisoning yourself every time you engage in it. So, don't be like that. You don't have to forgive, but if you can forget, that'll be the more powerful option. Anyway, see you guys later. Hope you have a better day than Angie is here. See you later.